Welcome to the Author's Corner, as featured in the Own It magazine. I am Marisa Bludorn, and I am your host today, and I am the editor-in-chief of Own It magazine and publishing. I'm so excited to have this beautiful woman with me, taking center stage and owning it with me. She's the author, Joy Miles. Her book is Heartbreak's Muse. Heartbreak's Muse is not a story about love ending, it's about what love leaves behind. The raw reflections and emotional truths. This book explores heartbreak as both a wound and a teacher. It encaptures the unraveling, the longing, the moments of weakness, and the quiet strength found in starting over when nothing feels certain anymore. This is a book, and she allows you to have some space in which you can process this journey inside the book as well. It's a beautiful book. I'm getting my copy. It's en route to me, and I can't wait to read it. But we didn't want to hold you up from bringing her into the studio and getting her interviewed live with us. And so taking center stage and owning it is Joy Miles. Hey, Joy, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. And ladies and gentlemen, trust me, she is so calm and so refreshing. And so, Joy, talk to us a little bit about yourself. You're in the author's corner. We speak to authors. We interview authors all the time. But each one of you are special and different in your own right. You have a heartbeat that wants to share with the world, but you're also your own person. So I want the audience to get to know a little bit about who you are personally as we dive into Heartbreak's Muse. Introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, good morning. Thank y'all for having me. I am Joy Miles. I am a mother, four boys, chef, and author. This is something that I have been wanting to do for like since ever. Uh, I remember in high school, I used to write poems and poetry, little short stories and things of that nature. And life happens. And I kind of lost myself along the way. But as I started to heal and find myself again, the passion came back to me and it hit me full force. I'm being led to do this. This is God using me to be whatever it is that y'all need me to be to y'all. So thank y'all.
Awesome, awesome. So diving, and you said you're the mom of four boys. How is that?
Crazy, chaotic, but at the same time calm. It's cool. It's collected. I have good boys. I have some extremely wonderful boys. I brag on them all the time. Every chance I get, I brag on my boys. I am a mother to two special needs boys. My boys have autism, my two oldest sons. And I do homeschool my second son. They're just some amazing kids. I don't think I could have asked for or picked better kids myself. I'm so grateful that they chose me.
Oh, that's beautiful. Nothing but men in the house.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is
My
beautiful.
dad, my four boys, and then I also have a cat, and he's a boy as well. I'm the only girl.
Well, enjoy it, Queen. That's all that attention for you. So I love it, love it, love it, love it. So we're gonna dive into your book, Heartbreak Muse. And when you think about the dynamics of the love relationship, I've written my own books on my book is called Sweetheart Before I Say I Do, and it's a reflection of sometimes how we end up in these relationships and different things like that. And I talk about the seriousness of the love relationship between man and woman, and how that is the second, outside your relationship with yourself, which we don't talk about that. We do need to try to talk about that relationship with self, because the relationship with self is why we end up making all of these decisions and choices, right? But the relationship with a man and a woman, that romance relationship, what happens in that can be very, very devastating, to the point where depression kicks in. You're not showing up fully in life. If you're not showing up fully in life, you're not showing up fully in your job or anywhere else. And I remember, just having that experience at a very, very young age, 20, my early 20s. And so, talk about that, because this is what you're talking about. You're talking about Heartbreak's Muse. So share a little bit. What was that heartbreak for you?
With not having the right kind of guidance on what love is supposed to be, you kind of start looking for it in other places and you just accept whatever you think or what feels like love in that moment. And it's not always what we think it is. Um, I, it's, it's one of those things that I had to learn what not to look for. Like you said about self love, I had to give to myself what I was trying to give to someone else. That was one of those things that I just did not get taught growing up. Those examples just were not set. My mom, I love her dearly, but she has not always been the type of person to love herself. And so I grew up watching her not feel highly of herself. I grew up watching her feel like she just didn't deserve good things. I watched her give so much to us and not at all to herself. And it leaves you searching. And like I said, we search in all the wrong places. And that was one of those things that I did. And I had to learn. I had to learn and I had to learn fast because it was it was breaking me down. It did cause anxiety and depression, and it was showing up in areas in life that I just knew I wanted to do better. I knew I
Mhm.
wanted to be a better example. And I had to learn. It was a hard lesson. It was a very hard lesson. That was heavy. It was hard for me
Mhm.
to let go of. It was hard to put down. But I'm glad that I found it. I'm glad that I got the clarity that I prayed for. I'm glad that I got the answers that I prayed for. That was it was a tough time. It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Well, the Bible tells us that the two become one flesh, right? So when you're intimate with someone, you become one with that individual. And especially for women, it's because we are wired to submit. We are wired to come up under. And I don't know how every woman feels, but that's the word of God. So
Yeah.
if you claim to really love the Lord, you are wired to submit to that man, to honor him. And we have a tendency to operate under, our wiring, right? Especially when it comes to our mates. It's like we just want to honor them. We want to make sure that we are showing up well for them. And they need to know how to do that for us as well. And we need to know um, when that person has that potential, and when they don't have that potential. We need to be able to know that. We need to be able to discern. And just like you said, it's our mothers and our fathers that need to be showing us how to do that, and preparing us. And some people say, well, they don't know how. Well, the word of God really says that if we don't know something, we got to ask him.
Yeah.
And we got to start seeing the bigger picture. That's why books like your book is so important for people who wouldn't read. Like some people, if you're watching this and I had someone say, well, I'm not a reader. Well, my people perish for what? A lack of knowledge. You're not reading. And so you need to read in order for you to learn. There's some things that we can get video wise, but then there's times where reading and setting yourself aside. So taking your book, Heartbreak's Muse, and let's put it up because it's such a beautiful cover and I love it. I love the cover because you know what, for me as someone who is results driven, so I'm driven by results. So when you think about heartbreak, I don't want to stay there. So it's like, okay, I know, my heart's broken, but I don't want to stay here, right? I want to get back to that happy place. And so not rushing that I don't learn, because it does tell you, like at the beginning of your description of the book, it's both a wound and a teacher. So I always want to learn so that, not that I believe that we'll ever avoid ever making a mistake again, but at least I've learned something from it. Either I built up some tough skin, or I've learned how to discern from it. So, but anyway, here's your beautiful cover. And we talked about your cover when we were interviewing offline. We talked about your cover, and I was just sharing with you how beautiful your cover is. And it's, again, the book is Heartbreak's Muse, and I'm here with Joy Miles, and so excited to be here, and her beautiful cover to her book. So Joy, talk to us. We had our conversations about the cover, and that low place that you get to in a relationship, because it is paralleling, it's disappointing, right? It's associated with failure, and we don't want to feel like we failed. It's also linked with our worth. So we say, well, what's wrong with us? Where's the defect in us that's not good enough for this particular man to show up the way that he's supposed to show up? And so talk about, kind of share about that. And I just believe that some covers I think that the imagery of the cover keeps you in the wounded or the trauma. And then there are covers that resonate to the wholeness and healing. And I believe that this cover is a win-win on the side of rejuvenation. It's beautiful. And even the heartbreak of it is still beautiful, because of the way that this was designed. Who designed your cover, by the way?
I actually came up with the idea myself. When I first thought about it, I was coming from a different place. The shattered part is part of my heart, and I wanted it to reflect my pain and my healing. And so as time went on and I looked at it after I received the book myself, I was like, hey, I can look at it from a different standpoint. It's not just my heart breaking, but it's my heart healing. And so that little part in the middle where it looks a little light, that's part of my healing. Like my heart has started to heal, and it's slowly moving over to the side to heal on the broken side as well. I didn't want to sit in that. I was tired of feeling like that, and there is also beauty in pain. And we have to realize that what's happening to us is actually happening for us. And that's just what I wanted to depict in the picture.
It's beautiful. I love it. I mean, it is absolutely 100% gorgeous. Your promotion for the book is gorgeous as well. I love those red lips that match that red heart and the red ribbon. It just beautifully laid out. Well done with the promotional piece of it. And, just like you said, and even just going into it, the heartbreak. What are some of the things that you did in order for you to begin to heal? What are some of the tips and takeaways that the audience can get from how you began to start that journey towards healing?
I had to cry. That's part of the release. That's part of the healing. I cried and I cried and I cried. Oh, and I cried at myself for a long time. I crack jokes about it. I say I'm a recovering crybaby because I used to cry a lot when I was younger. And that brought out so many tears. Oh my God. I cried so much. But when you get it out and when you release it, it helps you to feel better. And it helps you get to a place to where it's like I'm done. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to get this out of me so I can feel better, so I can be better. And yeah, I had to do a lot of crying. I did a lot of praying. I was asking God for clarity. Please give me the strength to get out of this situation, to walk away from what is no longer serving me. I did a lot of praying. And I didn't realize that I was getting what I was asking for. We
Right.
ask for things and expect it to show up a certain way, but it does not show up that way. It shows up in the way that it will help you. I got dragged. I got done wrong, talked to wrong. It,
Mm,
it, it, it was a real struggle, and I didn't realize that that was God's way of giving me what I asked for.
right.
You are going when you ask God to help you let go, He's going to put you in situations to where you have no choice but to let go. And the longer you
Right.
hold on, the heavier it gets and the harder it gets. And eventually your hands start hurting. Your heart hurts.
Mm,
It hurts.
mm,
It hurts so bad
mm.
that you're like, wait a minute, I'm done. I don't no more. Take it.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's gotta
Yeah.
go. You know, I had to do a lot of self-reflecting. I had to come to terms with the fact that it was not me. A lot of people do a lot of projecting. They do a
Hmm.
lot of projecting. So how they feel on the inside is how they're going to treat you. So if they're not treating
Hmm.
themselves well, if they're not happy with themselves, they can't come and treat you well and be happy with you either. And it was a lot of things that I had to turn my brain onto, turn my heart onto. It was not me. I gave
Yeah.
everything. I gave everything, and I poured from the deepest part of myself. I did everything that I could to get a person to see me when in reality they didn't even see themselves.
No. No. No.
I had to come to terms with that. And once you realize you deserve more, once you realize your worth, realize that you deserve more, you start doing better. You start
Yeah.
treating yourself better. And I had to go ahead and accept it for what it was, see that it was God giving me what it was that I asked for, and I had to and I had to move on.
Yeah. 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 I like what you said about crying. I don't think that people like to cry. They
No,
associate it with such a negativity, but it is a washing of the spirit. It
it
is
is.
how you get the stuff out. And I love to cry. I love crying because it means that I still feel. I want to
Yes,
feel. I don't ever want to get to a place where life has beaten me up so that I don't feel, that I'm cold and indifferent. And so I like crying, and God knows that I like crying. And I am a softie. You know, I know how to do what I need to do. But I'm a softie, and I love that because we need more soft people. We need more people who are tenderhearted, and caring, and I guard that. You know, like the word warns us. He says, "Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life." And I don't want my heart to ever become a heart of stone. I always want it to be pliable. That means teachable. And I always want to be teachable. And so, you know, I love what you said. So one of the tips was, like you said, you allow yourself to cry. You allowed yourself to be vulnerable. And then you talked about also too seeking God and praying and asking God. I know one of the things for me was I always say cut them off. Cut them off from me. Detach, release them from me, Lord. And then another thing that I do too is I forgive them. I say, because I want no involvement with like, let me, if I forgive you, then you are off and away from me. And that's what people don't understand, that when you don't forgive, you keep that person attached to you, because you got to remember the assault and the offense. And I'm not remembering, I will always learn from it, but I'm not holding on to it, because when you hold on to that, that becomes a part of your energy. It becomes a part of how you're showing up in different situations. It also too keeps the door open to trigger you to respond without any self-regulation, because your immediate response is self-protection. And so I'm like, look, cut them off, Lord. Cut them off from me. So I really love how you said, really, really pray. And then you really have to go through the process. And also, too, for me, I know it's about lining up your heart with what your mouth is saying,
Mm.
and your mind is saying. Line that all up, because we can say with our mind and our mouth that we don't want it anymore, but in our heart still harbor it and say, oh, I want to hold on to it. If there's any hope that of redemption, and I rather hold on to that little glimpse of redemption than really let it go. But when you are sick of it in your heart, that's where that overflow of passion and determination and tenacity and audacity begin to show up and say, I've had enough, and this all lines up. And once that all lines up and it's in according to God's word, instantly he begins to deliver you. And just like you said, the delivery comes from being uncomfortable. Now he's going to make you uncomfortable so that you will release it. It's even with a job. So when we were talking the other day, we talked about how heartbreak is just not in a romance relationship. Heartbreak is anything that you desired and it didn't work out, and you desired it on a high level and it didn't work out. That is heartbreak as well. And so as we close out this interview, and what I really love about you, Joy, is that you are going to be featured in the Own It magazine throughout this year. So you'll be able to watch this over and over again in the Own It magazine, because it will be part of the feature that we have in it, in our author section and our literary section of the Own It magazine. You'll be able to see this interview over and over again. And we'll be able to have more conversations. I look forward to the conversations, because this can't really be captured in one interview. It has to be an ongoing dialogue. So Joy, close us out with your closing thoughts. Where can they get your book? And let's where can they get your book on Amazon? And talk to the audience.
Well, it can be found on Amazon. Just look up Heartbreak's Muse. It will pop up for you. Um, and thank y'all in advance for your love and support. This means a lot to me. It took a lot of me to be able to pour this into this book. Um, and so I appreciate the opportunity to get to share this with y'all. This is meant to help somebody, anybody that is in a situation that they are finding themselves to having a hard time getting out of it. You're stronger than what you know. You are stronger than what you know. I did not think that I could do this. I didn't think that I could be so vulnerable. I'm such a private person. And I don't like showing vulnerability. It's been told to me that it's a sign of weakness. But I had to learn for myself that that was a strong part of me. That was the strongest part of me to be able to get this. And so if it helps even just one person, I did what God led me to do. And so, yeah, look me up on Amazon. I can also be found on Facebook under Daisha Joy Pulling, Instagram, Daisha Joy, TikTok, Arthur Joy Miles. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
All righty. Well, that was Joy. That was Joy Miles. She is the author of Heartbreak's Muse, and she's being featured throughout the year in the Own It magazine. And so we're so excited to have you. Beautiful, like I said, beautiful cover, beautiful spirit behind it, and we could tell by all means that you are thoroughly healed and you are doing the darn thing. And so we're looking forward. We're actually looking forward to more. We don't know what next book you have in store for us. But ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Take care. Be blessed. Thank you so much for listening in.